How do you think they managed to knock down the boys? Because I'm starting to think, what compositions would actually be able to take down this squad?
Well, when we saw the rematch, they played the Windwalker Arcane Mage, so presumably they got knocked down by that. And then the boys figured out the strategy, how to beat it, by ignoring the Arcane Mage, and then they did that, and now the rejects are out. And here we are with the boys just cleansing this lower part of the bracket, just deleting everyone, looking like they're going to be making their way all the way to the final here again.
Yeah, and I think that that's a very important thing to note, because if we didn't see the rejects do that, it could have changed the whole course of the tournament in such a big way. We may have not actually even seen how... Okay, production was talking to me. They were like, look at Frog's top. This is what
Did you
I
ever
wanted
think
to
this
see.
would happen?
I wanted it to happen so bad. Snuts and Shanimals.
I was like, why is production? They usually don't talk to you that much, right? Like, they only tell you when something is going absolutely crazy. I just keep hearing, you got to see the lineup. You got to see the lineup from the Frogs. I have tweeted at Snuts every day since he joined this team. Double lock? Double lock?
Well, it actually could be good. I mean, we've seen people play double Fire Mage, Resto Druid, and I think double Destruction could be just...
We've seen people play double Fire Mage.
Maybe not in these tournaments, but on the ladder. I
This
don't know.
is the best day ever.
Yep, Snuts and Chanimals teammates playing double Destruction Warlock against Method Orange. How's this going to work out? I mean, Chanimals and Snuts are going to be able to really punish Method Orange, especially if we have Trill just running after Cubsy in this game.
Still, I mean, the Restoration Shaman, the Grounding Totem, pretty effective at disabling Warlocks, especially of the Destruction variety, but are they going to split DPS? Are they going to go with the normal strategy of Trill running down the Druid trying to mana burn him while Mez builds pressure on another target? That appears to be the strategy that they're going to employ, but that means that Chanimal's going to be left open to free cast. Snuts is now left open to free cast. Two Infernals chasing down Method Orange. Finally, Method Orange getting a taste of their own medicine. I feel like Trill's always running these double stack class shenanigans, and now he's having it used against him, but I don't know if it's going to work.
It definitely could. I mean, we see what happens when teams go late into dampening against Destruction Warlocks. The Destruction Warlock can be exploited. You just train them, you interrupt them over and over and over. That's not going to be a big problem for Super Frogs. They have two of them, so you're going to have to shut down double the amount of Chaos Bolts, double the amount of Infernals, and I think Super Frogs may be onto something with this matchup, but I think it's a little too early to tell.
Yeah, it's definitely too early to tell here, as Trill's team often focusing on late dampening Mana Rift strategies for victory. So likely to be a long one, unless we see a gigantic Chaos Bolt snuck in from the team of the Super Frogs. I'm still just trying to take a moment to take it all in. Chanimal and Snuts on the same team, and then actually playing both as Warlock against Sea-Doo and Mez. I don't think there's ever a point where I would have even considered this as an option.
Trill caught into the bash. Big damage coming in from Chanimals and Snuts. There is a lot of Chaos Bolts that Method Orange has to deal with and try to shut down in this match. Sea-Doo's mana is doing quite well. Cubsy still trying to escape. His composition so far has been doing a pretty good job at allowing Cubsy to avoid at least some mana rifts. Cubsy consistently crossing the map, and what that does is it forces Trill into the open, where he will be susceptible to the damage of Snuts and Chanimals and also the fear spam.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a case of having to do hit and runs, trying to snag mana rifts when they can while still avoiding two Chaos Bolts. Snuts raining down a ton right now towards Trill. Curious if Chanimal can back him up at all. They've bursted Trill down quite low. Windshear blocks Chaos Bolts. Trill ducks around the corner, stays alive, but now they've left Mez in center field. Snuts and Chanimal, tag team Warlock Dream, going to be turning their attention to him. Anybody walks in line of sight of these two Warlocks, and they are going to be taking huge damage.
Yep, Trill eating another Chaos Bolt. Sea-Doo has been able to deal with it so far. Sea-Doo trinketed out a little bit early on. If he gets caught in midfield, potentially into a Mortal Coil, into a second Mortal Coil, maybe Chanimals could take him down. Trill taking quite a bit of burst. He gets vortexed into the midfield, and this composition isn't looking bad for Super Frogs at all. They've had good, consistent pressure. Method Orange, I feel like they're really struggling to stick to their game plan.
I mean, it's really difficult to do so if Cubsy constantly pulls them out in the open. You don't want to be in the open against two Destruction Warlocks, and maybe that's the equation to counteract this new age melee cleave that goes after the blue bar. We're going to have to wait and see. We've never seen this matchup before, let alone in a tournament setting. Snuts is pulling the trigger on his Infernals. He wants to get cooking some big Chaos Bolts. Gets denied by Mez, but Channel gets denied, but Snuts was still open. Anti-magic zone, grounding totem. It's going to deny a couple more Chaos Bolts, allowing Trill some breathing room, but now Mez is left in center field. Chanimal still has his Infernal in his back pocket. Cubsy getting pressured, though, as a double Maledict play. They're trying to race down the healer, find a kill. Not going to find it. Cubsy escapes.
Yeah, he does manage to escape. Still trying to consistently run across the map. Trill catches them, though. Lands a Mana Rift. Cubsy's mana not doing great as he looks to escape once again. Can Mez shut him down and keep him in combat? That's going to be really important in this matchup. Cubsy can get in stealth and never reset his mana. That's going to be huge for the Super Frogs. The Method Orange, they're still playing the waiting game. All they have to do is try to live, burn down Cubsy's blue bar. That's really their objective. Get rid of the blue bar, and then eventually they could get rid of the green ones, which is that health bar. So that's the objective of Method Orange. They just have to hold on for dear life and not make any mistakes, because Chanimals and Snuts on 2 Destruction Warlocks will be able to punish mistakes quite easily.
All right, Cubsy's getting hunted down, but Chanimal and Snuts are teeing off in center field. You don't have enough interrupts to stop 2 Destruction Warlocks. Fortunately, before dampening, Mez and Trill can rely on their self-sufficiency with that leech, soul rending, healing on the Demon Hunter and the Death Strike for Mez. But deeper into dampening, that advantage is then going to be lost, and it will be up to Sea-Doo to recover the health of his teammates. And I'm not sure if they actually will be able to. I'm wondering if in deep dampening they go for a darkness all in onto one of the Warlocks, try and kill them through their defensive cooldowns on ending resolve, while they can rely on darkness to keep them safe. Sea-Doo getting crowd controlled. Chanimal lining up a Chaos Bolt straight to Trill. Blur is going to trade out. Will that be enough? It appears to be enough for now, but 3 Chaos Bolts in a row now casted. 2 Fears being casted at the same time. You really have to pick your timing on your interrupts and make sure that you have a way to stop this, because 2 Chaos Bolts sneak in deep dampening and you're done.
And Cubsy is almost completely tapped on mana at this point in the game. He's been doing a good job at Sea-Doo in hot pursuit of making sure that he's never able to really escape and reset his mana bar. And I think until a little bit deeper in dampening, I think Method Orange will be able to stabilize and stay alive with the amount of self-healing these 2 classes have. Chanimals has his Infernals at about a minute, as well as that Dark Soul in 20 seconds. Snuts has about 30 seconds on his Infernals. If they can line those up once again. In fact, I don't even know if lining them up together is necessarily the best thing. Maybe one Warlock wants to use a set of cooldowns, make it really scary for Method Orange, and then rotate in a second set of offensive cooldowns to try to put Method Orange down and get through some of those defensives. Just have to see what they're going to do exactly.
This composition is scary for Method Orange, but you want to know who it's more scary for is the ladder. If Super Frogs can win this first game, I can only imagine how many Destruction Warlocks are sitting at home like, wait, I can play that? Where's my buddy? I'm picking up my buddy. I'm going to run double Destruction Warlock. Just tear apart people with these Chaos Bolts. Infernals have landed. Snuts is looking to try and get a kill here shortly. He's being denied so far, but for how much longer? Double Mortal Coil out of that anti-magic zone. He gets grounding totemed. Nice play by Sea-Doo, redirecting that Chaos Bolt. Now Snuts gets Mind Frozen. Good interrupt mechanics by Method Orange to deny those critical Chaos Bolts. But now another Infernal has landed from Chanimal. Do they have enough? 2 Chaos Bolts. Trill might just get taken out. Multiple Maledicts. Darkness, Spearling Totem, everything but the kitchen sink to stay alive. Even still might not be enough. Double Mortal Coil. Chanimal says enough. 1 more Chaos Bolt gets Mind Frozen. It's just 1 more Chaos Bolt and they're going to be able to get a kill. They're not finding it. They're pinned down at the pillar with not much defense. Mana has evened out. Did Cubsy manage to sneak away?
He actually got a little bit of a drink earlier on, so I think he's still around 30% mana, now in stealth once again, but Method Orange is really struggling. Sea-Doo's healing is not significant enough to keep him alive. Cubsy on 50% mana, things in favor of the Super Frogs. They still have all the defensive cooldowns. Trill could potentially go down if they find the damage. I can't believe Super Frogs is using this composition. Is this really the answer to Death Knight Demon Hunter? Double Warlock? Really? Now Snuts Channel still spamming out some fears, looking to get some control of the game, looking to find some damage. Sea-Doo has managed to stabilize Method Orange for now, but It's only a matter of time. They burn through anti-magic zone and darkness. They can't rely on those defensive cooldowns any longer.
Yeah, those are the team-wide cooldowns. That main objective now out of the way. And if we look at the timers for Chanimal and Snuts, minute and 20 seconds away from Infernals for Snuts, minute and 40 seconds away for Chanimal. So all they have to do is stay alive to that point. If they can't just kill somebody before it anyway, they've got a mana lead, they've got the cooldown advantages, and this composition is looking like it's going to be it for Super Frogs to take out Method Orange, at least in game number 1. Perhaps Method Orange have a different composition to go head-to-head with this double Warlocks, but when I saw Snuts get picked up by the Super Frogs, I wasn't thinking to myself, yeah, they're going to play that double Warlock. That's going to carry them through the tournament, definitely. And I was thinking, oh, he's going to flex player, play some Rogue, play some Mage, play some Ellie Shaman, but I guess this double Warlock might just be enough. Now 40 seconds away from that Infernal timing, impending doom for Method Orange.
Yeah, it can definitely be scary, but they have some of their defensive cooldowns rotating back up. I think Method Orange should be able to deal with it. Snuts actually falling a little bit behind now, and Method Orange might be playing into their win condition. Cubsy's mana is not doing well. Snuts getting lower on health. He can't just sit in the midfield any longer. Chanimals doesn't seem to have the counter pressure they need. Mez grips him out of line of sight of Cubsy. Cubsy gets caught to the capstone as well. Nice setup here from Method Orange as Snuts gets lower. I don't know if Cubsy's going to be able to recover, Sid.
It's going to be really difficult. This is what I thought might be the win condition for Method Orange, is to just push one of the Warlocks over with a collided effort. Can they take Snuts down? Can Chanimal save Snuts? He needs some backup. He needs some big Chaos Bolts. Where are they, Chanimal? He goes for the unending resolve. They go for an all-in. He gets anti-magic zone deflected on it. They've still got multiple Chaos Bolts, 2 Dark Souls. What is Method Orange going to do? It's likely the smart idea to just run away and say, okay, that's the Infernals. Let's just try and pause it out and stay alive for a couple more seconds to that darkness, then go for a big push. 10 more seconds on that for Trill. Will the curveball, will the double Warlock ultimately work out for the Super Frogs? It looks funny, but maybe it's not good. Mez gets bursted, double Malekith.
He could die!
Spirit Link Totem available, darkness. Mez holds on, he gets feared out of the darkness. He has to get Spirit Link Totem by Sidu, and where are the Chaos Bolts? Snuts is casting one, gets wind sheared. Where's Chanimal's Chaos Bolt? He's casting, do they have a stop? They don't have it, they max range it. Snuts gets stopped on his Chaos Bolt. I'm just monitoring 2 Chaos Bolts. Chanimal sneaks one in, that's gonna connect on Mez, 2 in a row onto Mez. There's not much left, dampening is very high, no mana left in the tank. They grip Snuts to the pillar to try and finish him off, but they've left Chanimals open for so long. He's gonna give a gateway to Snuts so he can get back to midfield and try and kite them into center field to finish this. I mean, Method Orange, it's do or die.
Yeah, they have to make the push. Sidu caught into the full fear. Mez could go down. He trinkets. He has anti-magic shell. 1 Chaos Bolt lands. Cubsy stabilizes team. Snuts is in a lot of trouble, though. There's not too much healing left from Cubsy. Snuts has to make an all-in play. Mez gets forward, and they get the first point on the board. Super Frogs, Chanimal, Snuts, Cubsy bringing in the double Warlock, really putting it to Method Orange.
Man, if you're Method Orange right now, you're like, wait, so that's what it's like to lose to us? Oh man, so many times when they're actually going to be the team that uses the double Demon Hunter. They'll be the team that typically class decks. They're going to get a taste of their own medicine here. And Zico and Van, I feel like you guys are probably very prepared to talk about this. Not exactly the combo you guys have been playing, but you guys have been playing that double G-Pie tosser, baking up those pies. Does it function in a similar way?
Well, there's a lot of similarity, yeah, but obviously with the double G-Pie Mage, it's kind of more about polymorphing 2 people at the same time and then Greater Pyroblasting the same guy. Now, with the double Warlock, it seems to be a little bit more disruption. Whoever gets targeted, the other Warlock is just spam fearing. In this case, Snuts, of course. This gateway, though, was insane. Chanimals bailing Snuts out of jail there. And then we can see the Shadow Furies are going to come in, the Fears. Whoever is the free Warlock is just spamming Fears out onto Sidu. Double coil. Chaos Bolt gets kicked on Snuts. But guess what? Chanimal gets it through. And then, of course, Mez actually dies with the AMS because of this beautiful stun here, and we can see that Shadow Fury and that Bash combo gonna be the devastation of Method Orange. At 38% dampening, these guys have stun, AoE stun, 2 of them, 4 coils, spammable fear, they have cataclysms if they go behind the pillar, they have burst damage. They have Infernals to set up drinks with. This comp is actually good.
It's still time walking week, right? Can you help me?
I'll help you level your warlock. It cannot be worse than your Shadow Priest. But the thing is when we're sitting here, if you've been a World of Warcraft fan for a long time and you've been a fan of Snuts, if you've been a fan of Channel, like if you are a Warlock fan, to see them be like best buds in the arena on the classes that they used to be rivals on is so crazy. Like seeing like Gateway, like, yo, come here, bro. It's like, oh wait, you're getting trained down? I got you. Peel. Like, it's just so crazy to actually get to watch these two players play Destruction Warlock side by side. I know as a longtime Warlock fan, I'm blown away. Like, this is the dream series for me. But do we keep seeing it? Like, is this the comp that we keep seeing them lock it? Like, is this the comp that wins them the tournament?
Maybe? I feel like they should lock it in again, honestly. Even on a smaller map, I don't think it's that bad. They should at least try. Maybe Method Orange has a better answer than the composition they just ran in the last game, but for Super Frogs, I feel like they should at least test the waters a little bit, see where they stand in this series. They did win game number 1, so on game 3, if they lose game 2, they can go to a large map. On game 5, if they lose game 4, then they can go to a large map once again.
Thugonomics needs to ditch his team, pick up Maldiva, and go head-to-head with
Maldiva was in chat going, my comp.
He actually is. He's played that for so long.
Here's the thing, is like, you will play, I've played against double Destruction Warlocks on the ladder, and it's the hardest thing ever. And then it's like, okay, well, why don't these tournament teams experiment with some of these compositions? And then I see Snuts and Chanimals and Cubsy playing that comp. I would be absolutely horrified if I was Method Orange, because it's actually a really solid composition. You have really good defense, really good offense. You can back each other up quite nicely. If one Warlock's getting shut down, the other one gets to free cast, and that really is the strength.
Yeah, that's the thing that's so crazy, because you guys kept mentioning, it's like, okay, the scary thing is one of these Warlocks can get trained down, and then exactly what Zico was mentioning starts to happen. Havoc. Coil, boom, you're safe. Shadow Fury, boom, you're safe. There are so many DRs that the Warlock has for himself that he really can peel so effectively for his teammates.
Well, yeah, the Warlock has Fear. The Warlock has a stun. Actually, the Warlock has the Infernal stun, which is on its own DR, and then it has the Shadow Fury stun as well, which is on the regular stun DR. And then in addition to that, you also have the Polymorph DR with the Mortal Coils, and then
they have double Spelllock too.
Double Spelllock. And Sidu has to cast as well, and you have 2 pets that you can put on Sidu to stop him from drinking. There's so many things that really work for this. This is of course a takeaway for Method Orange. They do not want to go against double Warlock on Tolver. So maybe we'll see Sam I Am come in here for Method Orange potentially, but I'm not sold on that. And one more thing I just wanted to highlight is you have 2 Warlocks. So for sure, your target is going to be one of the Warlocks. Otherwise, they're both going to just free cast Devastation. Now, this opens up a talent known as the Feral Affinity, which, of course, Cubsy was running in that game. And if you go after the cat, well, then the Warlocks are going to just throw the beefiest Chaos Bolts at you, throw 4 Death Coils, you know, so you're not going to be able to do much about that. And then if you leave him, well, he's going to be sneaking off to drink, so you're going to have to cross the map to stop him. But also, if you leave him, he's going to be re-stealthing and stunning you up, setting up those Warlocks, and that's what we like to do as well when we play the double mage. So we play a lot of Feral Affinity. It's very hard to punish unless you face something like an Asarok Fire Mage or something very, very burst-oriented.
Ben, I have a question for you. Obviously, you have 2 of your former teammates playing against each other right now. How do you think that, like, Snuts is taking a victory like that with such a crazy composition? And on the other hand, how do you think Sidu is taking a loss like that with such a crazy composition?
Well, the composition Method Orange is bringing, the Death Knight, Demon Hunter, Resto Shaman, it's very durable, and you see Super Frogs are actually going to be switching up their composition. But
I actually don't think this is good.
I think double Destruction is actually better.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know what they're afraid of. I think Destruction Warlock is actually just better than the Frost Mage.
Yeah, it's
100%.
Well, think about it. You have more damage, you have more lockdown,
more durability. Yeah,
more durability. You have a ranged root. The only thing the Frost Mage really has over the Warlock is, well, you have better snares, but you also have, but that's not really a big like thing against 2 casters. You're not going to be trying to kite them and slow them that much. And the other thing is, of course, the mobility. You have a little bit more mobility for sure on that mage. Oh wait, Super Frogs are playing this.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought Method Orange for some reason was playing this. That's my bad. so this is kind of expected from Method Orange to be locking in the Demon Hunter, the Moonkin, and the Shaman. But on Super Frogs, I don't understand why they would lock this in. I think double Warlock is just straight up better.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we're going to find that out right now because you're going to get to watch a caster cleave that we knew would be strong. It's such a tough decision, though, if you are the Super Frogs, to actually pick in this particular scenario. It's like, okay, which of the best Destro locks in the world do we want to bring in right now? Snuts is going to be the one to chill for now. Obviously, Snuts is going to be the guy who has even more classes, so he's typically not the Warlock that we do see. It is Chanimal more times than not. But I do want to go back to how do you think the teams are reacting? Because it's very rare that we can actually almost jump into their comms. Like, you know these guys better than most people do.
Well, I know Snuts was very frustrated playing against Demon Hunter Death Knight. It's a very frustrating composition because they're very durable. You can't really kill them until the late game. And by that point, your healer's already out of mana, so you're in a very difficult situation. We've seen some compositions been able to beat it so far. The most convincing to me has been the Death Knight Warrior that we saw the Pumpers running in Europe. But Super Frogs, they were really struggling to figure something out. And I think Snuts has got to be happy that it was Double Destruction Warlock that was able to finally take down that composition for them, because now they know what it's like to go up against two targets that are very difficult to kill in those Double Destruction Warlocks. And it sounds kind of gimmicky, but I really don't think it's a bad overall comp.
So did Double DH when we first saw it, and then it was a comp that we saw other teams start to run. We saw it have its place in the meta, but I do want to say, like, obviously you have years of playing with these guys. You know them incredibly well. I follow them on Twitter. I saw Snuts tweet out, I'm trying to remember how long ago it was. It was pretty much as soon as we saw the changes. So I guess right before Cup number 2, he's like, oh man, DH is going to be so strong. Like, you could just see Snuts like, how are we going to actually be able to bring down these DHs? Because you knew with Mana Rift, there's no way that it's not going to be one of the best abilities with the changes that we saw. So now Snuts finds out a counter, takes down game number 1. They are now just 2 games away from going to the grand finals. How do we think Destro Frost is going to play here, Z?
Well, they want to play a long game, so on the side of Method Orange, for sure, the win condition is going to be to have Trill and potentially Sea-Doo as well chase down Cubsy, get those big mana rifts that we've been talking about, and try to burn him out of mana and prevent him from drinking by applying pressure, by consistently stunning him up and using that mana rift. Now, on the side of Super Frogs, their win condition is to land a lot of CC, because the main thing that the Mage Warlock would bring over the double Warlock is that additional CC on the polymorph DR, of course, with the polymorph. So you will most likely want to be getting the Fears and the Sheeps over onto Trill, a lot of damage onto Samayam, and that's how you set up those drinks. Potentially get a Sheep on Sea-Doo, a Fear on Trill, and damage onto Samayam, and then of course you want to drag the game late, as you have that Frost Mage not going to be able to pack that same punch as Snuts did on the Destruction Warlock.
Man, looking at chat right now, everybody's just spamming Nerf Lock. Lock's had one of the toughest years. Now they're back in fighting form. They grabbed the first win, but now we're going to see Wealthy Man. He's going to be attacking on that Frost Mage. Samayam going to be the trick for Method Orange. Is that going to be enough to tie it up? We find out now.
See, here is the main problem for me, is the Frost Mage free casted damage I don't think is going to be as scary as the Destruction Warlock. And one of the reasons why I like double Destro is when Trill's just running at Cubsy the entire game, Snuts and Chanimal were able to punish them quite heavily. I don't know if Wealthy Man's going to be able to do the same thing. Potentially. He does have polymorph spam for Trill, so there is a different DR, and maybe that is their game plan. Keep Trill away from Cubsy, allow him to drink, and Wealthy Man being on the Mage with more roots, as well as more snares, and a separate DR with polymorph might actually allow them to do that. Meanwhile, they can tee off on Samayam, who is going to be a good target, and if he wants to get onto Cubsy, he's going to have to move through the middle of the field. And that way, Wealthy Man and Chanimals, they have an opportunity to do some damage.
Demon Hunter, Balance Druid, Restoration Shaman. This is the composition that got Method Orange their BlizzCon title. Bringing in Samayam off the bench, trying to allow him to carry the team. We have seen Balance Druids utilized against these double Wizard setups with Knobbers over in Europe, so potentially there is promise there, but if they go down here on Tolvaron Arena on their map pick, on their comp advantage, it's not looking too good for Method Orange. Lots of damage on Samayam. Perfect Ursul's Vortex, pulling Samayam back into midfield, locking him down. Sea-Doo still in polymorph, now able to get out. Trill trading reverse magic in a diminishing return to polymorph. I'm not sure if that was the highest value, and it's still just a lot of damage on Samayam. Spirit Link Totem as well. Method Orange are definitely starting to crack here early on.
Well, Seedu's playing Relentless, so he has no trinket available. If Wealthy Man and Chanimal can secure Polymorph and Fear onto Seedu, Sam I Am's going to be left in a situation where he's all alone. He has to keep himself alive with Frenzied Regen. You know, Seedu or Sam I Am feels like he is a target in this matchup. He opted to spec into Renewal, so he really needs the healing. He can opt to use that. Wealthy Man now with his Icy Veins looking to get hyper-aggressive onto Sam I Am. Seedu shortly will be off Polymorph Diminishing Return. Wealthy Man might consider wanting to push in and get some crowd control, but it doesn't look like it. Chanimal and Wealthy Man, they're going to be controlling up Trill. He's separated from his team. Well, you can see Seedu and Sam I Am, they're on the other side of the map. Trill just trying to hunt down Cubsy and burn his mana, but so far, Super Frogs, they've been able to deal with that strategy easily.
The advantage of bringing Chanimal and Warlock instead of something like we've seen Valet on Shadow Priest is that they have spammable Fear, so they can Fear Trill. Seedu dispels that, so Trill can hit his target, then Wealthy Man polymorphs Trill. And then Trill doesn't move for an extended period of time and can't Mana Rift on cooldown. So this composition at least makes sense on paper in terms of trying to stall the fight out. Perhaps the double destruction is more damage, but the mage is certainly more control. Cubsy getting caught, stun into Mana Rift. Potentially going to look to position into the center field so that Chanimal Wealthy Man can back him up once again. Fear on Trill. Seedu tries to cross the map to dispel it. It's too far away. Now they've switched some damage over to Sam I Am. Seedu tried to cross. It got crowd controlled. He is now going to get reverse magicked. Curious to see if they can get anything else off the back of that. Not able to. Chanimal looking for a Mortal Coil. Not able to find any Chaos Bolts with it. Bit of a stalemate here. About a couple minutes into the match. Again, we haven't seen these compositions go head-to-head. It is difficult to predict who actually has an advantage. If the Super Frogs can assist Cubsy late into dampening, Sam I Am has been bursted down quite low early on, and potentially he is an open target for Super Frogs.
Sam I Am still trying to find some pressure, but Wealthy Man forcing Sam I Am to run away just a little bit. Chanimal's looking for a Fear, finds it on Sam I Am. No crowd control secured on Seedu just yet. Trill charging in, but Cubsy finds a re-stealth. He's going to be crossing the map, and now Trill's basically wasting his time. Now forced to go back onto Wealthy Man, look for some damage there. Fell Eruption going to be committed, and that means that he doesn't have that available for Cubsy, which means he's not going to be able to land the Mana Rift. And Super Frog's mana will be extended. Cubsy's looking for a re-stealth, but all three members from Method Orange will be shutting that down as Cubsy's just consistently running across the map, running laps just to make as much space as possible, really punishing Method Orange, especially when they're caught in the middle of the map. Wealthy Man and Chanimal's going to be able to tee off on them.
Yep, Sam I Am getting bursted here in, and now able to get back to the pillar. Seedu looking to reconvene with him as soon as possible, but every time that Seedu and Sam I Am play defensive, they then switch their attention to Trill, either crowd controlling him and allowing Cubsy to escape, or bursting him down and then forcing Seedu to overextend either way, which then exposes Seedu. So constantly Super Frogs are making good swaps on their targeting and really trying to keep that mana lead in their favor, going up against Method Orange here in the upper brackets. That double destruction Warlock is likely to show its face again here in the series, but when they're picking blind, Super Frogs feel more confident with this Mage and Warlock, and that's what we were critiquing, saying that maybe it's just better to play double destruction the whole time. I'm really wondering what they're afraid of as that double destruction Warlock. Is it this balanced Druid Demon Hunter composition? It could be, and by bringing in a Mage, they have Polymorph, so they can control Trill behind the pillar. Right now with a Frost Nova, Trill is not going to be moving for quite some time. Then they can Polymorph him, and they can Fear him, and then Cubsy can drink. So if you didn't bring in the Mage, Cubsy would never get to drink, and that's probably what I'm thinking they're considering going in with this composition blind.
I want to know how much distance Cubsy has covered in these last two games, just running non-stop in cat form, crossing the map. Once again, behind the pillar, looking for a re-stealth. Trill chases him down. And Trill just really hasn't been able to find the same amount of mana burns we normally see. Wealthy Man and Chanimal are really focusing on just crowd control, spamming out crowd control, and that's one of the main strengths of this Mage Lock Druid setup. You have the Mage spamming out Polymorph and Roots, you have Chanimals spamming out, Fears, as well as stuns with the Shadow Fear, and you just have so much control of the matchup. Seedu ever gets caught in crowd control, then it's going to be really scary for Sam I Am or Trill, and Trill's just really struggling to stay on target with the amount of CC. Super Frogs has available.
Yeah, he certainly is, and this strategy could work for Super Frogs, and it's actually very curious how they managed to figure this out. Maybe they've got some war games under their belt against this Demon Hunter strategy with the Balanced Druid instead, because it's obviously a lot more difficult to avoid a Balanced Druid's damage and dampening than a Death Knight, so they can just crowd control Trill. I mean, he's sitting Entangling Root after Entangling Root, Frost Nova, Polymorph, Fear. Sea-Doo can't dispel all of these effects, and then that gives Cubsy so much breathing room to reset the fight, add some damage with Feral Affinity, and potentially give Super Frogs the opportunity to burst a target down in dampening for a kill. Good cross-crowd control initiation. They've isolated Sam I Am, realizing that situation was not a good trade. Sam I Am then tries to retreat back to the pillar with Sea-Doo, looking for a couple of seconds to recover.
Yep, Chanimal's trying to find some damage there on Trill, but Trill's been pretty solid in this matchup so far, but I really feel like Trill's going to be an excellent target for the Super Frogs. If he's continuing to play in the midfield, he's going to be getting hit by these Chaos Bolts from Chanimal. Wealthy Man's going to be able to build up consistent damage, and a lot of that leech healing we see from the Demon Hunter isn't going to be nearly as effective, so potentially a target change for Wealthy Man and Chanimals a little bit later on in the fight, but for now they're very comfortable with just keeping Sam I Am at bay, controlling up Trill with Polymorph, limiting the amount of damage he's able to put out. Cubsy's mana doing completely fine and healthy, but with the way Method Orange is playing it, Sea-Doo's still relatively healthy as well in terms of mana. 20% dampening though. Things are going to start getting super unstable. Cubsy with a Shadow Meld on that last Maledict. Very nicely done, utilizing that racial in order to stay alive. Barkskin and Ironbark committed, but that was the incarnation from Sam I Am. I don't know if Method Orange is going to have that kind of burst potential again, at least not until that cooldown's back up.
Yeah, that was the all-in from Method Orange, and Cubsy denies the kill with a well-timed Dispel into Shadow Meld, avoiding that Gladiator's Maledict. Quite an effective way to burst a target down, and now the Super Frogs look to counter-aggress, bursting down Sam I Am, forcing a Spirit Link Totem. Even with that, it may not be enough. Trill manages to get inside and beef up Sam I Am's health just that little bit more. The thing is if Method Orange's only win condition is to try and all-in Cubsy, and they don't kill him, the amount of time they spend in open field chasing him is just going to allow Chanimal and Wealthy Man to tear them to shreds. This composition, the Balanced Druid and the Demon Hunter, is looking like it may not work for Method Orange. They still need to stall for another 2 minutes to have that window of time for Sam I Am to burst down a target.
I think the biggest thing is just this map. I think Super Frogs, they chose a really good composition for this map. The Frost Mage Snares paying dividends, really forcing Method Orange to stick on the pillar. I think if this was Dalaran Sewers, this composition would be working way better. They could easily stop all the drinks Cubsy has. He would have been out of mana much sooner. Sea-Doo could have backed up Trill a lot more with the Dispels, but with this map, with how much distance there is, Trill just gets caught in these crowd controls, and Sea-Doo just doesn't have the Dispels, and he did in order to keep him free enough to burn down Cubsy's mana. And now it just seems like as this game goes on, things are looking better and better for the Super Frogs.
Oh, Sam I Am looked like he wanted to go midfield and make a move, maybe deny Cubsy from drinking with a Starfall, but that couple of seconds, just only a couple of seconds that he spent in midfield, has already cost him a significant amount of his health. There's no Spear Link Totem. Earthen Wall will stabilize, but it's not that powerful against hard-hitting spells like Chaos Bolt. Sam I Am able to line a sight Chanimal. Chanimal now instead attacking Trill, and this is the thing. Crowd control the Demon Hunter before dampening. You're not going to kill him. He has too much self-healing. Crowd control him. Make sure Cubsy has full mana. Then when you're deep in dampening and that self-healing from the Demon Hunter is weakened, then you can switch your attention and try and kill Trill. The strategy that Super Frogs are employing is definitely the right one. It's just a matter of if it will actually work against what Method Orange have brought here in game number 2. Demonic Gateway placed for Chanimal. Frozen Orb, Cataclysm on one side to try and corner Method Orange and squeak in whatever damage they can. Any amount of damage deep in dampening is important damage.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Becomes really expensive for Sea-Doo to actually heal through. Trill getting caught into the stun. Do they have the damage to take him down? Sea-Doo in panic mode, trying to keep him alive. Ascendance has been popped as he's looking to stabilize his team. One of the last lines of defense there for Method Orange. They're all going to get topped off, looking healthy, but if that happens again, Sea-Doo with no Ascendance is really going to struggle to keep his team afloat.
There's a beautiful grounding totem that would have easily killed Trill in that bash if he was not able to deny the Chaos Bolt. MVP defense goes to Sea-Doo in that moment, but still falling behind. Sam-I-Am's in midfield trying to go for a kill on Cubsy, but like I said, the longer he spends out there trying to kill Cubsy, the more punishment and pain he's going to take in exchange. Cubsy able to escape to the opposite side of the map. Sea-Doo locked down in crowd control. Dampening, ramping up to critical mass. I think in this matchup, 45% to 50% is definitely going to be the magic mark for the Super Frogs. Sam-I-Am taking heat, tons of damage. Sea-Doo with limited mana left in the tank to keep going. Sam-I-Am tries to burst down Wealthy Man in a surprise attack on a solo mission. Ice Block trades equivalently with that. Did he have to cold snap Ice Block? No, he did not. No. One Ice Block, fair trade for Wealthy Man. They've got another 3 minutes until that incarnation threat, so it's unlikely that Method Orange will survive to that point, so I think it's just an efficient trade for Wealthy Man. Now Wealthy Man is trying to get aggressive, trying to finish the job.
Gets it. He gets the full polymorph on Sea-Doo. Sam-I-Am running for his life. Wealthy Man with a nice Ray of Frost. All 3 members from Method Orange once again hiding behind the pillar. Trill moves forward looking to get some pressure, but Chanimals running in looking for the follow-up Fear. Manages to potentially land a Chaos Bolt on Sam-I-Am. Sea-Doo struggling to keep him alive, but Wealthy Man also a little bit low. Cubsy has to use the Iron Bark to keep him stable. Sam-I-Am caught in midfield. Chaos Bolt lands on Sam-I-Am. Wealthy Man with a beautiful blink counterspell. Sam-I-Am's running for his life behind the pillar. Should be able to survive out of line of sight, but these are getting scarier and scarier for Method Orange, but there's still hope. Wealthy Man with only 1 Ice Block left is going to be increasingly vulnerable as the game goes on.
Infernal's available in 5 seconds. Chanimal, what can you get done with these, as it's likely the last set that you're going to see. You cannot get denied on these Chaos Bolts. Chanimal is relying on this burst window. He's just going to pull the trigger on it and go. He needs to get a Chaos Bolt out here, find a kill with it. They've got a couple of seconds to do so. Is Method Orange just going to retreat is the question. Are they going to disrespect Chanimals? Grounding Totem denies 1 Chaos Bolt. What's going to deny the next? Chanimal gets bashed, unable to really burst. Infernal's basically shut down at this point. Wealthy Man is slowly rotting. These Infernals definitely not paying off. Maybe 1 Chaos Bolt. Sneaks in 1 Chaos Bolt. Big damage on Sam-I-Am. Spirit Link Totem still available. Spirit Link Totem on the Polymorph. Breaks Sea-Doo out and stabilizes, but Trill was a bit out of position. He's not able to get there to get inside. The health isn't distributed to 3 players. I don't think there's enough health for Sam-I-Am. Trill is Frost Nova'd out of range. Metamorphosis. Trill doesn't seem to care about keeping Sam-I-Am alive. He's going to try and kill Wealthy Man while Sam-I-Am is just barely holding on.
Yep, Trill gets polymorphed in midfield. Is there any follow-up crowd control? Wealthy Man getting low, might have to Ice Block. Playing very greedy with those Maledicts, finally, but Sam-I-Am low. In the meantime, Chanimal's finding the counter pressure that he needs. Sam-I-Am, Sea-Doo running away, Cubsy leaps in, gets the bash, but it's Trill in midfield, stuck there. I really feel like Super Frogs, they need to punish Trill a little bit more. Wealthy Man still low. Method Orange looking to push and take down Wealthy Man. He doesn't have any Ice Block left. This is such a scary moment. Sam-I-Am in midfield, very vulnerable. Chanimal's trinkets out. Mortal Coil gets redirected by Trill. Nicely done. Darkness gets dropped out. Sam-I-Am in midfield with the Darkness, going to be feeling very safe. Finds the Cyclone onto Wealthy Man, but still Chanimals lands the Fear on Sea-Doo. Sam-I-Am has to survive. Polymorph on Trill. Good control here from the Super Frogs. Cubsy keeping them alive. Sam-I-Am trying to escape. I just don't know if Sea-Doo has the healing.
I want to see Cubsy just go in cat form. Just go and kill him yourself at this point if he runs at the pillar. Wealthy Man's got Temporal Shield. Just activate that, run in cat form, and kill him. Damn it, 60%. He's just going to fall to Ray of Frost. Wealthy Man closes it out. Chanimal sneaks in and finds a kill. Now up 2-0 in the series against Method Orange.
All right, well, let's actually break this one down because we see 2 new compositions come into play, and we need to start figuring out what we're going to see in Game 3. And if we see Method Orange take that one, if we're going to get in a situation where we see these comps again. How do you think the series plays out now that we saw the Moonkin, now that we saw the Mage paired up as well with that Destro lock?
I think it's a kind of even matchup, as long as it's a big map. If it's a small map, for sure Method Orange are favored, and they kind of did what I expected here from the Super Frogs. If we take a look at the last parts of the game, they demonstrated very well. So the lockdown is the Fears. That's what initiates everything. Fear on Sea-Doo, Sheep on Trill, Stun on Sam-I-Am, and there's the Chaos Bolt. That's the big damage. And then again, the Fear gets shut down. Chanimal is trying to fear Sam-I-Am out in the open there. And at this point, the dampening is so high, the Maledicts are flying in. Sam-I-Am not being able to do much. Nice blink CS from Wealthy Man. Ray of Frost as well. Triangle formation activated. Chanimal pushing in on that little dwarf warlock to take down Sam-I-Am.
All right, this has been a pretty crazy series already. Definitely getting excited about that. We see Method Orange on the composition that won them BlizzCon. It definitely functions in a different way now, and we saw them on their cleave. We saw them on some of the best stuff that they have to offer. The question is, are they going to have an answer? Are we going to see the Super Frogs take this series 3-0? They are in the 3rd place entering this tournament overall for standings with 100 points. Super Frogs are at 180. That is a very sizable lead. It's basically that tournament lead that they have for Method Orange not qualifying all the way to that top 8. So if you're Method Orange, you really feel like you do need to win this here. You don't want to be dropping down. You do not want to risk it. Super Frogs are going to try to cut all the momentum out of Method Orange sails right here and now on Dollar and Sewers.
And they're going to try and cut it out with Snuts' daggers on that rogue. Will he be able to be the X factor here in game number 3 and just 3-0 Method Orange? We do see an attack towards Trill. Obviously, you want to avoid attacking Death Knights before dampening, at least when you've got a choice between a Death Knight and a Demon Hunter. Neither are favorable, but the Demon Hunter is the necessary evil here. Chan will drop those Infernals, trying to get some counter aggression going for his team. Sidu denies it with an Earthen Wall Totem, hitting all 3 members of the team, but Chan continues to ramp up. He does not seem to care about the defense that Sidu has placed. Looking to build up for a giant Chaos Bolt. We do see Mez saying, all right, I know that this next Chaos Bolt is going to hit huge. I'm just going to put Anti-Magic Zone down now in case I'm crowd controlled and can't use it later. It at least zones that Chaos Bolt out. Doesn't soak up the damage though. Chanimal has been trying to get through the interrupts, just unable to at this point. Good denial by Method Orange early on.
Yeah, Cubsy already sat down and snuck away and got a drink, regenerating his mana. Trill still on the hunt for that blue bar, now caught into a kidney shot. Snuts committing some damage here with one of his Maledicts. Chanimal's really not able to get many casts off, though. I think Trill should be okay. Mez easily shutting him down with the Mind Freeze, but Trill in midfield could still be in a little bit of trouble as he looks to find another Mana Rift on Cubsy out of that imprisonment. Does manage to sneak it in, and now Cubsy's mana already on 70%. We're not even close to dampening, and if Method Orange can keep this up, things are going to be looking good for them.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, they've set themselves up for success here. I was surprised to see them go with Ashamane's Fall. They were probably just trying to take a big map away from the Super Frogs, but they definitely didn't expect that Fear Polymorph, control Trill for the entire game strategy, and then look for a burst kill in dampening. So that got stolen away from them, and now they're against the wall. They need to win 3 games in a row, and I'm starting to think that it's pretty unlikely that they're going to. I really expect that Method Orange are going down to the lower bracket, maybe not in this game specifically, but the next afterwards, assuming that the Super Frogs set themselves up for success, going something like Runes of Lordaeron, not because I want to say my catchphrase, but because there's a lot of open field for 2 Destruction Warlocks, which I can imagine is what they are looking to lock in if Method Orange decide to try and use this composition again blind. So maybe Method Orange have to win with the Demon Hunter Boomkin for the rest of the series blind. Even that I'm not so certain in. It's definitely not 100%. Right now there is decent pressure for Super Frogs with 2 members of Method Orange down at about half health. Sidu has cooldowns to trade to bounce them back, but he is trying his best to hold onto them as long as possible.
Cubsy once again sneaking away, trying to look for a drink, but I think Sidu's been doing a good job at shutting that down. I think Snuts is actually playing the Flying Daggers build, so he's been able to put out tremendous amounts of damage onto Trill and Mez, sort of taxing Sidu's mana and forcing him to come back and heal instead of just full-time chase down Cubsy. Cubsy now in line of sight. Trill manages to find the double stun into a Mana Rift. A lot of the healers are now opting into Relentless against Demon Hunters. It makes it a little bit more difficult for them to land these Mana Rifts. They have to commit more. It's either the Imprisonment or they have to use double stuns. They can no longer just use 1 stun with the Relentless. They have enough time to escape. Full blind now onto Sidu. Trill taking some damage. Sidu actually trinketed out of that. I think it was actually a diminishing return blind, but I think for Sidu it's a worthwhile trade. He doesn't want to get caught in a situation where he doesn't have his trinket for the next blind, as that's going to be a big opportunity for Super Frogs to actually close out the game. In addition, he doesn't want to fall behind. Cubsy right now, way behind on mana, so Method Orange definitely has that going in their favor. But Trill getting swapped to. Can they take him down? Trill getting lower and lower, caught into the Growth Silence. Darkness gets dropped out. He's hanging on by a thread. I-Beam, he gets interrupted instantaneously. Still a Cyclone on to Sidu. He gets the Spirit Link off. Method Orange stabilized, but that was a clean setup from Super Frogs.
Yeah, Snuts is playing the Flying Daggers build, but he's playing all out Fan of Knives. He's running the Hidden Blades normal talent, which increases the damage stack stacking up 20% up to a huge amount of increase. It stacks up to 20 times. Then he's running the Azurite traits with Echoing Blades for even further increased Fan of Knives damage, realizing on a small map that Mez, Trill, and Sea-Doo will be looking to duck for cover around the boxes. It's more likely that they will stand next to each other, and if there's 3 targets standing next to each other, Flying Daggers then increases the damage of Fan of Knives 50% more. And perhaps Snuts' Fan of Knives build could be the way for Super Frogs to overcome this map disadvantage, effectively countering Chanimal on that Destruction Warlock. This build is something that Nesper pioneered at the start of the season, but now other players are starting to pick it up as well. So far, it's not looking too good, as Cubsy's basically tapped on mana and unlikely to find anywhere to drink. So it's up to the Super Frogs to find a kill before Cubsy is totally tapped.
I don't know if they really have the cooldowns to do so. Mez has committed quite a bit, but he still has the anti-magic zone if he needs it. Trill with no darkness available. Mez is going to be increasingly vulnerable, but Chanimal's actually taking a lot of pressure, forced to trade out the Unending Resolve, and this is where Method Orange is going to start developing a lot of pressure. Things are going to start snowballing for them as Cubsy has no mana left in the tank, and going for drinks is just going to leave Chanimal and Snuts very vulnerable, but a full kidney shot committed onto Mez. Shadow Fury onto Sea-Doo. Can they take Mez down? Trill gets caught into the blind. Snuts doing everything he can to buy Cubsy some time, but Trill not afraid to just instantaneously trinket out of that blind, keep Cubsy in combat, and keep the lead that they have.
All right, Sea-Doo's got a massive lead here. They're on match point. They have to win this if they want to stay in the upper bracket. Otherwise, they're going down to the lower bracket, and they're fighting the boys, and I really wouldn't want to be facing the boys, at least not as I could avoid them as long as possible. But Super Frog's surprise double Destruction Warlock composition, I think, caught Method Orange off guard, and potentially could be the composition that allows the Super Frogs to take the entire tournament. Who would have thought that Chanimals and Snuts playing Warlock together on the same team could be the best choice for them overall to overcome this entire tournament? But now Chanimal is against the wall with dampening kicking in and no mana left on Cubsy. I'm not sure how much longer he's going to be able to stay alive. They tried to set up for a kill with a Fear onto Sea-Doo. Do they have enough damage to take down Mez? Cubsy keeps the chain going. Chaos Bolt snuck in, able to connect onto Mez. In a bit of trouble here. No cooldowns for 17 seconds if they can keep up the momentum. Sea-Doo looks for a heal. Ancestral Spirit able to get that. Gets smoke bombed on the end of the heal. Then tries to sneak in, catching a big healing wave. If Sea-Doo gets interrupted in this next 10-second period of time, they're going to drop Infernals. Big Chaos Bolts coming. Cataclysm. Chanimal is free casting. You cannot leave Chanimal free casting that many spells in a row. Kidney shots. Here comes the attempt. They have to kill Mez here and now, and Sea-Doo knows it. He denies it, dropping a Spirit Link Totem. Pops Ascendance to heal his team up. Will it be enough is the question. He's running that Pack Spirit Azurite trade, so he's using Ghost Wolf and Ascendance together to heal his whole team effectively for free, but they're still not out of the woods. Mez is still very low on health, and Chanimal may have an opportunity to just close this series out.
Yeah, Mez low, caught into the kidney shot, bash onto Sea-Doo. Is there any follow-up crowd control? Mez is low, he has the anti-magic shell, he needs to use it. Does manage to get it off before the Chaos Bolt lands from Chanimal. Super Frog's still in this, but Method Orange is looking pretty good as long as they can hold on just a little bit longer. I think Chanimals will ultimately fall, but Super Frogs has been doing such a great job. Mez is just taking so much pressure. This is unbelievable. Full Fear snuck onto Sea-Doo. He doesn't have any healing to recover. Mez into the kidney shot, doesn't want to trade out the guy's found Fortitude. Eventually does, but a Chaos Bolt lands. Mez trying to keep himself alive. Fear now onto Sea-Doo. Chanimals gets stunned up, doesn't have the damage to potentially close out. Sea-Doo holding on by a thread. Cubsy sneaking away. If he gets a drink here, this is so massive for Super Frogs. I think he may have done it. He got some mana. Sea-Doo caught into the Mortal Coil. Mez still low. Snuts trying to put out as much pressure as possible. If they can take down Mez, this is going to be unbelievable.
I mean, they're pretty close to being able to do it. Sea-Doo's basically tapped. Chanimal has Unending Resolve. He can activate that and free cast Chaos Bolts. I think he may just have to go for that play, even though it's high risk. It might be high reward. He spell locks Sea-Doo on cast. Cubsy gets the chain. He keeps it going. Mez is likely to fall as Snuts looks to close it out. Just the tiniest bit more. He's done it. He's taken him out. Trill looks to try and counter-aggress, but with both defensive cooldowns and drain life, Chanimal, are you going to go down? They're so close to 3-0ing Method Orange. It's so hard to believe that they did it off the back of a double Destruction Warlock, but they've done it. Super Frogs advance 3-0.
I mean, just look at the different comps that Super Frogs do play as well. I mean, you see so much out of them within this series. This is a team that looks like not only do they have the individual skill, do they have a lot of strong comps, they also figured out an exact counter to what they expected Method to be bringing. And you know the other team that they probably did prepare for, it's probably the boys, right? That's the top team in NA. So when you look at this tournament, all of a sudden, Super Frogs, their stock just went way up. They're going to be the first team that goes to the grand final. You can see that they're a team that has been coming up with plans. They just 3-0'd Method Orange.
Right there, Chanimal is such a king. Right there, he interrupted Sedu's Spirit Walker's Grace with the double Mortal Coil, setting up a kill, healing himself, and also providing that lockdown so he can get those Chaos Bolts. Snuts as well, providing that extra bit of lockdown onto Mez time and time again, that spell lock at the end as well. Chanimal's just been playing out of his mind his entire series. Look at him, he's on 10%, he's not even activating his unending resolve. He doesn't care to waste the global. For that, he's gonna just go for raw pressure and get that Chaos Bolt off instead. He's been playing phenomenally this entire day.
He does every time that we actually see him. We used to always joke around that we wouldn't see him until land, and then the second that he comes in, he absolutely destroys. We're going to get to see that a little bit early. Now, when we do look at the bracket, if you are the Super Frogs, you probably want Method Orange to win this next one, maybe?
I think they have answers for the boys. Now, I'm
well, it's not that I agree with you there, but the reason I did bring that up is because the boys have 220 points. So I think if the boys make it to second place, it's mathematically impossible for Super Frogs to pass them this week. I think that maybe if they drop out in third, then the Super Frogs can take first place.